come.
Tfue and Cloakzy don't need any introduction to true Fortnite fans. They're the peanut butter and jelly of Fortnite. They never disappoint. They recently hit 63 points in a duo event, and I watched a few of their games. Needless to say, I was impressed the whole time. I clipped 2 of my favorite late game wins, and I broke them down. In this clip, I'm going to focus on 2 things: Tfue's ability to always win high ground and Cloakzy's callouts. Let's set the scene a bit. There are 21 players alive and the storm is moving. Let's listen to Tfue's thoughts on his mat count.
What's the play? We have a lot of mats, yay.
This is the first example of why pro players love porter rifts so much. Tfue pretty much has a free ticket into the safe zone, and the most important part is that he used 0 mats to get there. I also love how Tfue casually ramps off a pre-aiming player and builds the high ground with 0 reaction.
I'm
on you.
There's guys all around me.
Oh, you didn't get it?
When I watched this live, I thought Tfue was done for. Cloakzy misused his porter rift. But again, his experience showed, and he took a really smart path. It's like that good old saying, sometimes you have to go backwards to go forwards. We get to see some sick bloom action right here. So, Cloakzy makes the call, and there's only 1 player contesting high ground. They instantly collapse because everyone beneath them is worried about rotating. So again, we're seeing Tfue win high ground, then shoot. So far, so good. Here's the problem though. Being on high ground without mats is, well, it kind of sucks. Once players move out of your angle, you can't build for a new one. Tfue has to move down if he wants to do anything useful. You see that? Just by moving down 1 level, he gave himself a new angle to shoot. You have to remember that everyone is hurting for mats during these situations, so giving yourself an angle to shoot is everything. They drop down for the kills and pick up some mats. They also still have high ground, while everyone is forced to play Turtle Wars and fight for their lives. Tfue and Cloakzy are spamming away for free. This is a textbook example of milking your high ground. Don't be this player right here. There's no reason to go offensive against 2 players standing overhead when the circle is going to force them off the high ground anyways.
Helped him for a lot.
I'm not BMing Tfue at all here, but he just pulled one of my biggest pet peeves. When he chases a player down and shoots, he tells Cloakzy that he dealt a ton of damage. It was actually a ghost shot that did 0 damage. Imagine if you're Cloakzy and you jump in expecting a free kill, but you end up dying. I don't want to harp on this for too long, but clear and accurate calls matter a lot, and Tfue usually makes great calls. But sometimes, 1 mishap is all it takes. Tfue gets knocked down and whips a few shots, but luckily Cloakzy has the foresight to rip Tfue out of trouble. Alright, so right now there's 5 players left, and 3 players are still in the air. Another thing to note is that the storm is moving fast and is on a slope of a mountain. This means landing is going to suck. This trap play was pretty funny because at first I thought it was pointless, but in this context it was great. Tfue had nowhere to go and he ends up dying all because of a trap. I also noticed that at least one of the remaining players has a grappler. She pulled it out for a split second. And Tfue had a grappler as well, so Cloakzy is far from safe on high ground. I think if Tfue communicated that, then this win would have been easy. I mean, way easier, since Cloakzy could have just blocked off any grapple points. But hey, Cloakzy wins anyways, and that was a great showing all the way through from the duo. There are 2 things that I want to take away from this clip. Get to high ground and make a play. You have the advantage, you don't need to press it, or else there's no reason to go to high ground in the first place. Now, you saw Tfue do it, right? So go ahead into your next game and copy him. Always find ways to help out your teammate in duos. Sometimes you need to reposition or full on engage. You guys know this already, but I'll say it anyways. Enabling your teammate is the key to consistent success. We're gonna do something very special in this clip, and we're gonna jump between Tfue's and Cloakzy's point of views. Tfue and Cloakzy are just inside the safe zone, and they both have rocket launchers. I'll talk more about explosives later. The storm is super far away, and luckily, they have 2 porter rifts. Right away, I can tell that a lot of players are going to die to this rotation. The circle is up and over a mountain and then down the valley. You're pretty much dead if you have to scale a mountain against other players. That's why porter rifts are so good. You can see where everyone is and land wherever you want. You also get to save all your mats. I like to give Tfue and Cloakzy the benefit of the doubt that if this was at an event, they would have talked a lot more and landed together, but that wasn't the case. Tfue dives down towards the center of the zone. I would have taken this path as well because he now has a clear shot for mid-ground. It also works out because there are so many players fighting that sneaking through the middle doesn't sound so crazy after all. For bonus points, Tfue hit me with a sick bunny hop and secured himself into a house without a scratch. So where's Cloakzy? He dove towards the left side instead and landed on 2 players, so right away you can see that his path was a lot worse. It makes sense that there would be players all along the edges of the mountain. This outcome could have been prevented with communication or a plan. Once Cloakzy lands, he has to panic build to survive. With help from Tfue's laser beam, Cloakzy is able to finish the duo. Now, rocket launchers are ridiculous in the endgame, and this is just one example why. You can pressure anyone as long as you have rockets. It's really strong. Cloakzy is running through the trenches to get to Tfue, who's sitting pretty. On his way there, a player lands on his head. Normally, chasing after players is a bad thing to do in the current game state, but he had to move anyways and he cracks a few good shots.
This guy no armor under me.
Bro, we have height. Build up to me, build up to me. Dude, this is so sketch up here though.
No, come down.
Okay, I don't have much mats, my guy.
Yeah, me either. We just gotta kill them.
I'm glad that Cloakzy disagreed with this call. Tfue is the high ground king for sure, but he probably didn't even realize that he's out of mats. And we saw in the first clip that high ground without mats isn't great. Another thing to consider is that Cloakzy already has high ground over the rest of the lobby, and the goal is to be 1 to 3 tiles up. So Tfue's extreme height isn't going to mean much. So great call by Cloakzy to bring Tfue down. This is classic gatekeeping and the major benefit of rotating early. You get to shoot everyone rotating in late. They also have high ground, so it's looking pretty bad for the rest of the lobby. And I'm gonna say it again, but rocket launchers are disgusting, especially that super strong Deagle rocket launcher combo people are using now. Something else to note is that most players don't hold snipers for high-level late games. They're just too situational. I know a lot of you guys are thinking that they look like sniper food, but Tfue and Cloakzy are moving left and right slightly, and sniping a moving target is exponentially harder. However, in your pub games, always play around snipes. Tfue decided to make a move with his grappler because he had no mask and popped off for 3 kills. This right here is a good example, guys, of aggression being rewarded. Tfue and Cloakzy literally always push whenever they have an advantage, which is why they're the best duo. It's down to a 2v2, and I'm gonna say that I'm a little surprised that Tfue didn't react faster or respond aggressively against this player. What I did like is the instant trap play. Use your traps, boys, they're super good. Cloakzy bails Tfue out, and I really feel bad for the last guy because, 2 rocket launchers.
Be ready?
I'm aiming for 28 flash, 28 flash. I'm
Got him.
nice.
Tfue and Cloakzy exploded for a handful of kills to close out the game, and these are the lessons you need to take away. Use explosives. Way too many players skip over explosive weapons. Using a rocket launcher correctly will double your chances of winning. One simple tip is to follow your rocket with AR shots. Calculated aggression is the way to go when you're getting health on kills. Remember that grapple play Tfue made that suddenly turned into a 3-kill explosion? Yeah, good things happen when you go for plays. Even if they don't pan out, you can learn from it and improve. I jumped straight into the late game and I skipped over how they got there, so let's go over that real quick. Tfue and Cloakzy's preferred landing spot was Frosty Flights all the way. It's pretty much their new Westworld landing spot. It offers a ton of mats, plenty of loot, and planes. They also had 1 or 2 duels contested in most of their games, which hands them free shields. They took their time with their rotations as well. After Frosty Flights, they never really had a second designated point of interest. They just went wherever was best for the storm. They never rushed and kept looting until they absolutely had to move. And thankfully, for my entertainment's sake, they didn't avoid fights in the mid-game. Tfue and Cloakzy are opportunists by nature, so I saw plenty of third parties. They also shredded through any duel in isolated 2v2, so if you guys are interested in mid-game fight analysis, let us know by leaving a comment down below. The last thing I want to talk about is their loadout choices. Tfue and Cloakzy both favored the heavy AR and pump shotgun. The other 2 items they went for were explosives, especially the rocket launcher and dynamite, as well as porter rifts. We saw in both of the clips that they used porter rifts multiple times really well. Now, for healing items, they used whatever they got their hands on. All of this put together made for masterful late game performances that I just showed you guys earlier. Hope you guys enjoyed the commentary. I would love to hear some feedback about what you want me to talk about next time, and maybe give me a suggestion on which pro player you want me to analyze next. Hey, I've had a blast. Once again, my name is Keith Allen, and if you want to connect with me, I would love to hear from you on my Instagram. And if you want to learn more about playing Fortnite, hey, check out ProGuides.com. We'll see you next time.